What is up, everybody? We're back this week. This week's pick was Dave's with Memento. Guy Pearce stars in it. Christopher Nolan directed, in my opinion. It is a movie that people always say they gotta watch it 2 or 3 times to get it. I thought it was pretty self-explanatory from the start what was going on. It's a long movie. It kind of just keeps going and going and going. I feel like it could have been a little shorter in some parts. Nah, it's just pretty much how I feel about the movie. I always have. It's not like a bad movie. I don't think it's like, oh, it's like the best movie I've ever seen. Well, I don't see the film as like a masterpiece, as some people call it. You know what I mean?
Do people consider this a masterpiece?
When people talk about this movie, they feel like it is like one of the best movies ever made.
People? Are you general?
Like,
honestly,
people I've heard talk about this movie, who like suggest it, like talk about it like it's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
I don't think it's like. I don't think it has a twist like. I don't think that there's a twist there, you know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's kind of this or this. I don't think it really has a big twist. I think it kind of like, I don't know, for me I kind of got it, you know what I mean? I don't think it was a big twist that this guy was telling his life story through other characters, or he was just messed up, you know what I mean? I don't know.
But there is more to it than just you said there is no twist?
I don't
there
feel
is a twist.
There's a twist, but I don't feel like...
There's more to it than just the twist, though. I mean, are you watching this movie only to see that twist?
No.
Is this the kind of movie that it has to have a good twist at the end, or it's lost?
I don't feel that. I feel like they tried to make it like this big confusing thing. They tried to put more into it than what the story actually was for me. I feel like it was overdone in some parts. It just kind of needed to come more natural. I feel like it was forced. You know what I mean? The movie just didn't feel natural.
Contrived.
Contrived, yeah. It just felt too set up, too...
I feel the film it feels extremely contrived.
Yeah.
But I know that most stories are contrived. This is a film I never liked. I can't stand this film. But like I was saying and explaining, I try to find appreciation in it because there still is a talent at work there, constructing a story, the way it's been constructed, the art that goes into it, the way it starts out with the reverse, and then like that's your theme. It opens with their theme that this, like the footage is in reverse. You see this action played out in reverse, and then as you go through the film, you find everything out in reverse.
And not everything is in reverse. Actually, you have one part that's playing forward.
Oh, that's true. The black and white memory
is playing
backward.
true. And so you actually meet at the end of the movie, in the middle of the movie, where your forward and backward parts come together at the end, and you're actually kind of in the middle of the story. But
you see the end, you see what you're waiting to see again at the end, in the beginning, in reverse.
But you don't exactly understand it
Not
at
at all.
that point. So
it's not possible to understand it the first time watching it.
It isn't. I think this movie gives you the feeling of what it's like to be this character, because you're learning stuff kind of in reverse, the way he has to backwards engineer what has happened to him. So I think
yeah,
that
and there's moments where he's like, what the like.
You're like,
telephone rings,
yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you're right there with him. Now, it's good and it's got that, but I see it as like it's a trick. It's like a one-trick pony, you know?
I agree.
And that's what I think.
They're cheap gimmicks.
Well, I think that. I think
that's where I think that. That's what, yeah.
It's like a generic story with a bunch of tricks thrown in to make it interesting, and it does a good job doing that. You know, but I don't prefer the film. You know, that's
it's the first time I'd ever seen a film like this, like that has this kind of timeline. That and also it makes, when I watch the film, it makes me feel like I have the actual film, like the basis of the film, this character's condition. It makes me feel like I have that.
Even for me watching it again, I've watched it multiple times actually. It's still fun to like learn how he's learning or how he's figuring things out as you go through. Even though I don't enjoy the film that much, it's still kind of fun to go through it. So then there's more appreciation. I was thinking that on this watch, that I was finding a lot more appreciation in it than I ever have before.
Well, and you are a writer as well, and so you construct stories, and so you can imagine constructing a story
as well made as this one.
Yeah, and like putting it back together.
Right, exactly.
And putting it back together in such an order that you can display it in a way that tells the story, but at the same time, every particular scene, you're like, wait a minute, how did I get here? Wait a minute, wait, how did I get here? But wait, and you just continually do that throughout the film, just like your character does. And so they can make you follow along and tell a fluid story where you really can't remember what happened 5 minutes ago, but it's a story you can follow.
It is crazy how it does that. Because as I'm watching it tonight, I'm keeping track of what we're seeing, but then I'm trying to flip it around in my mind and play it out the other way.
Because that's what you're used to, right?
Exactly. And it's so difficult to do in this film.
It
is, because you're worrying about what's coming next, but you don't know what's happened before. And it's like, it's a mind trip.
It's a total mind trip.
I don't think it has enough punch for me to consider it a mind trip, because that doesn't freak me out. No part about that fucks with my mind. You're losing your mind. Okay, you're fucking crazy. Like Guy Pearce, this feels like you're saying he's losing his mind or whatever. I feel like you're on a mind trip or whatever. I just feel that way. I don't get it. I don't feel empathy for the character. I feel like they try to build empathy with the character and then shatter this world of you have this concern, you have this draw this character, you feel bad for this character, you want to believe in this character, and the end of it's just kind of I feel like they're trying to knock the bottom out and make you go second guess yourself or second guess how you feel about people, but it doesn't have that shock value to me. But the character from the start, you build empathy and you care about this character. You're like, oh, his wife got murdered, but you come to find out he's just fucking crazy.
Is he just crazy?
Well, his wife did get attacked.
Yeah.
Now, she might not have got murdered, but she did get attacked. We don't really know if it's true.
You don't know. Yeah.
You don't know if it's true if he is Sammy Jenkins, right? You don't quite know if that's true, because this cop's a liar.
But we don't know any of it's true.
We don't know any of it's true, and he doesn't either. And
what I feel I know is that we got this guy that's got this short-term memory loss problem. He has a cop that knows him and is using him to kill a drug dealer, right?
yeah, and take the money. You pretty much think.
Yeah. And then he also knows a bartender.
Who is Dodd, right? Who is this guy? What is his relationship in all this?
Dodd is the one that comes after him in the truck.
Yeah, Dodd's the guy that he has locked in the closet, right?
Yeah, it's got the truck.
With the guy with the truck and stuff like
That's
that.
shooting at him, and he's like, "Am I?"
He's like, "Oh, what am I doing? Am I chasing this guy? Oh, he's chasing me."
He fires at him. He's like, "Oh."
Yeah, and then he ends up in his hotel room. He's like, "I don't feel drunk," but that all happens before that. You don't even know how he got into the hotel room. You just are there with a bottle, and then it shows him going into the hotel room, and he's like, "I need a weapon," and he picks up the bottle, But before that, he was getting this guy shooting at him.
But Dodd must be coming after him because he's killed the drug dealer.
The drug dealer. That's what I have to
guess. Which is the bartender's boyfriend?
It shows a picture of them together when they're happy and stuff, right?
So yeah.
So we assume that's...
Natalie is with Jimmy Grants?
Yeah.
He's after a John G.
Or a James G. I don't think we know exactly when that got there.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. We don't see it?
No, I don't think we see the James go there. And this cop, he's a cop.
Yeah.
He has the badge
He
and
has
stuff.
a badge.
So he's the cop.
So he knows about this drug dealer.
And he knows about this drug dealer, but he apparently already helped him find the guy once. But it seems pretty convincing. He's like, "I thought you'd remember. I gave you those files."
And he has the photos of him
Yeah,
where there's a dead body and where it looks like he's got blood on his hand. He's smiling, and the cop tells him that's from where he killed the guy. He said,
and he's pointing to his chest. Like, maybe I'm saving this space. He has conditioned himself to remember that he's saving that space for when he kills the guy. And he even tells the girl, "I'm saving this space maybe for when I kill the guy." So that kind of foreshadows that in it. That seems pretty legit. He's got the cop slides the picture under the door of
So
him.
you're saying you believe that the cop is telling the truth there?
That we know at least that he already killed somebody.
Yeah, that he's using them.
That he's using it. We don't know if
Well, he's done it twice now too, right?
So we don't know if that's the guy that he really believes is the strung out guy that raped his wife.
Yeah, but he kills a John G, and then he kills another John G, and now, where does the movie actually leave us off at?
The movie leaves us off with him
killing the last John G.
Which is the cop. And he's like, "How can I make myself not remember this? Maybe I do make up my own reality. Maybe I do, It talks about how memory is just your interpretation of events anyway. You need facts. But
Right.
then he starts creating his own facts, you find out. And you don't know how many times he's done it. So he's kept all these notes and all these things that you have
And you
faith
think
and
about
belief
that,
in.
one wrong note could lead to a whole bunch.
And it happens. That's what happens to the whole thing. He keeps getting wrong notes. And these different people are using him in that. You know, like she hides all the pins and shit. Gets him to fuck her
Yeah,
up.
so he can't write anything down.
He can't write anything down when she runs out.
It's a nice
and
sequence,
stuff.
yeah.
It is a nice
A
sequence.
manipulative person there.
Oh, yeah. You're like, how do he find these evil fucking people, you know, that take advantage? Everybody he runs into takes advantage of it. Everybody.
But
It's
that's the world. The guy that runs the hotel, motel,
He
he
does.
charges them for multiple
2
rooms.
rooms. Those 2 for now.
And
And he's like, but you won't remember this. Fuck you.
And he's like, at least you're being honest to me. And when he
Yeah.
says you won't remember it anyway,
He's like, you don't
yeah,
have to be
that
that
honest.
Yeah.
And even on, I think this is my 3rd watch now, you still have trouble piecing it back together, at least I do, in the proper chronological order.
And that's what I got from it. Like, with repeated viewings, it's still okay to watch. It's not like, I mean, it does feel like it drags, like, really bad.
Oh God, it drags really bad as an understatement.
Like,
Is it because of all the repetition of the Sammy Jenkins
yeah,
thing?
it's just
Jenkins?
it's too much overlapping, I think.
To tail you back in
It's
to
way too
where you
much.
came. Too much overlapping.
I think so.
believe.
It just seems like some of the scenes play way too long. The overlapping is way too much at points.
I totally agree with that. How long was that movie? Like 2.5 hours?
No, I don't think it is.
God,
But
it
it
feels- yeah.
feels extremely long. It does. I felt that way.
I can watch
Do you
the.
feel that
I
way?
feel like I
Okay.
watched The Watchmen. It's almost
Watching it
3
again.
hours.
No, I
No.
didn't feel like it was too long. I
You
really
still find
didn't.
it compelling enough to...
Yeah, I do. I still find it compelling enough to watch. And I don't necessarily feel. I think what it usually leads you into 3 seconds, 4 seconds of every scene. You know what I mean?
And that adds up. When you
I think
see
it
the
adds
same
up
thing
over time.
And over.
I think it adds
Or
up
repeat
over
it too.
time.
It's like a, I don't know, like Chris complained in The Mouth of Madness where he saw the same clip 4 times.
Yeah.
Now this
Yeah,
is,
with the car pulling
yeah,
back.
that
through
was
it.
too much for him in that movie. And this movie, like, is the whole movie is bombarding you with the same repetitive.
The problem I have is the way that I remember things. Once I see it and I watch it in the film, I remember it, and I gotta watch it again, and I get tired of it. You know what I mean? I want it to keep progressing, and I feel like all this like cutting in and out, in and out, in and out. I'm
Whereas
like,
in The Mouth of Madness, it was pertinent to the script or the story.
Yeah.
This was the guy stuck in this loop, and he's been written.
which is
to this
understandable.
loop.
Well, so I understand that, but I don't understand why they do it in this film. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's because they flipped the narrative around so that you're going backwards, and he's clipped it up.
Yeah, the story doesn't progress.
Yeah.
It recedes.
yeah,
I mean, it does progress as you figure out more about it, but it's really
Progresses back.
receding. It's a receding story, not a progressive story.
well, it's like it comes like here's the middle part is where it all starts. You know, maybe it picks up the Jaguar, and here's everything from here all the way back, and then all this story is going forward into here.
I think.
You know what I
one
mean?
thing-
But it's just it's you don't need all this like. It wasn't hard to understand what was going on. It doesn't. You don't need all this forward momentum. All this whole story going back was enough. For me personally, I don't know. I don't think you need all this cutting in and out. Like, I just think it was overdone. There's a lot there that doesn't need to be there. I think you said it too. You know what I mean?
I think the story of Sammy is important, obviously,
Yes.
because you find out in the end, because that's part of the overlap, is he keeps going back to Sammy and stuff. But, has he fabricated this? The cop would lead you to believe that at the end, that he has fabricated the same story. And they even have, like you said, the flicker that happens there,
Yeah.
where he's placed into that chair.
Yeah, we're watching Sammy in the nursing home or whatever, and as a body or nurse like crosses the frame, it like cuts to another scene. But right before it cuts to that next scene,
It has
Sammy-
Leonard.
Leonard is
right?
in the chair. Yeah.
Sammy
So,
changes to Leonard instead, or just
it's
like
super quick.
a frame or two.
And they show early on in the film, they show him like pinching his wife at a certain point. She's like, ow.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it changes. His memory changes to him doing what Sammy was doing with the insulin shots.
But then it flips back.
Yeah, to him pinching again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, is he waking his memory back up, or is he just changing his memory because somebody's changed it for him?
For him.
You don't
know.
You have
You
no
don't
idea.
know this.
This is just like Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
It's
you
all
can't-
open to speculation.
It's a little bit, yeah, it is. Cobb.
But we don't know his history.
No.
We only know
he doesn't.
what the film presents us.
And they point that out to him,
Yeah,
too.
this guy's like could be a rogue going town to town that's doing this forever, or
Yeah.
he could have just started it with that cop. We don't know, right?
Yeah,
Could
you
be
don't
one or the
know.
other.
I mean, the cop claims to be the guy on the case file, but for all you know, he's just a dirty cop that started manipulating this
Yeah,
guy.
as far as I know, my memory tells me that cop is the guy under the mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be.
I
The
know
second
that.
guy, not the guy who shoots.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
But the second guy.
Yeah,
He
the
could-
guy that got away, obviously.
He could have been a cop that ran off. Well, he got conked in the head. I felt like there's definitely a mystery there, and I like mysteries as well. I know when I first watched the film, I was trying to just figure out what the fuck was going on,
raging
really,
blue.
like where I was at.
Yeah.
You know,
On the first watching, and the second watching, or any other after, you know.
you kind of
already.
know where you're at, but you're still like, okay, I know what's going on,
But
and you're
there's-
trying to piece it together
But-
still.
And here's the thing, though. One thing I will say, though, the movie is true. Watching it repeatedly, immediately I know the guy in the beginning is the cop that he kills, and that's, you know,
Yeah,
always. You're going to start with that every time. So it's easier to remember that because he's with you the whole movie than it is to remember the little bits in the movie that happen anyway. But the thing is, it's so forgettable. That's why I forget it every time, because it's not that memorable to remember in the first place.
and I think a lot of that has to do with the way the timeline is displayed. I don't think we're used to remembering events outside of their synchronous order. Like, we just aren't
But you're
used
not
to it.
also you're also not given that much information. You're given a very little a bit amount of information.
So what's the
on,
basic story?
on like all the basic stories? This guy has short-term amnesia problems.
That is pretty, because he remembers that.
Up
from
to
a
that,
full-
seeing
he
his wife's
remembers
face.
that. So we can say in the movie,
That he's but can we trust everything he remembers? I thought that's
you can't trust everything he remembers, but everybody in the movie, and he continually drives home the point that his wife was raped. We pretty much know his
But
wife
she
was
survived.
raped, but she survived. Now, in his remembering, and he was
right.
injured in
He
that
has changed
incident
his memory to believe that she died that time,
because
and
he's
then
the one who
turned-
fucking killed
and
her.
then turned his
Yeah.
possible real story into Sammy's story.
Yeah, and we don't
And
know
that
if
would-
Sammy doesn't exist.
And then so he just created this whole story that he was an insurance fraud investigator.
Well, he
Insurance
very well,
investigator.
he probably was an insurance investigator.
You don't know.
We don't really know that. Yeah, I mean, he tattooed on his hand, remember this person. Yeah.
They got attacked. He killed the guy. He got his head bashed into the wall. The other guy got away.
Yeah. The guy who jumped on his back, if he was even there, but from what the cop tells us, he was.
When Teddy changes his memory and he flashes back to pinching his wife, and
Yeah.
then realizes that he is Sammy, or is he? Because you're questioning.
Yeah, I'm
whether
saying
or not.
I'm saying that he is.
Okay, 'cause
myself.
I see it
believe
that way
that.
too, so-
I believe that.
Right.
You can't build memories. You can't get over the past. So you can't move
You can't
beyond.
remember to forget, is what he
Yeah,
says.
yeah. You can't move on.
So every day he wakes up, he's mourning the loss of his wife.
Yeah.
Every morning.
Every not just every morning, at every moment.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Groundhog's Day, but either
Not
way.
seriously.
Done seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Groundhog's Day drama?
It's not it's not a comedy.
The film talks about a lot about your memories, and just because you don't remember doing something doesn't mean you don't have impact on the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
But-
because you close your eyes doesn't mean the world
World
goes away.
It goes away, right? But for him, see, the thing is he proves that untrue. He can close his eyes and make the things he's done go away.
The filmmaker is messing with the viewer like crazy.
Which, if that was his goal, he did it, I think, extremely effectively in this story.
But at a point, I feel like I get tired of being messed with. And it's like,
Yeah.
this story's not that spectacular to care to be messed with like this.
I agree there. Roger, what would you rate this film?
It makes me have more appreciation for it.
So, 1 to 5? What
On
do you
my
give
1
it?
to 5 scale, I give it a 3.
Really? That's higher than I thought you'd give it.
I think it's a really good film.
I give it half of a thumb. Dave, how do you feel about that?
I think this is a great film. I would recommend it to anybody.
There you go. Well, it brings back to Roger's pick for next
yeah.
week.
That's right.
What is your pick going to be, sir?
I'm going with the 2003 version of Old Boy.
Not the remake.
Not the remake
Correct.
by
All right.
Spike Lee, but the Korean film.
Well, there we go. Well, hey, check back with us next week. Old Boy's the pick. See you later. Bye.